Bob Cooney from the Daily News. Sixers in action tonight as they take on the Milwaukee Bucks. Are they going to have enough guys to suit up for a game tonight, Bob?
Yeah, they should be all right. Picked up Sean Long today, so he'll be there on the bench. Couple new acquisitions. They should be good to go. Okafor, of course, is doubtful with that knee. We were told this morning at shoot-around. Rashawn Holmes has a soreness in his hamstring, but it looks like he's going to be able to go. So they should be okay. I would assume Okafor is going to be out, and they'll just go without him tonight.
Is this Okafor, this right knee, still from that meniscus surgery that he had? Because isn't that a little bit of a concern? If he had meniscus injury, he's still having problems knowing that Embiid just went out with the same thing?
Yeah, well, they said that he had a collision on Friday night. I didn't see it there. They said he had a collision on Friday night where he hit his knee, and that's where this soreness is coming from. But you're right. I wrote that a couple of weeks ago that, he was still having soreness. And, yeah, that's a real concern because if you're looking to trade him, besides the defensive deficiencies that we've all seen of late and the rebounding deficiencies, and now if there's a continuing knee soreness from an operation that he had, close to a year ago now, yeah, that's a real concern. And then if you want to take it further, yeah, Joel Embiid has the same tear, and the Sixers labeled Okafor's minor last year at the beginning, saying it was just going to be a 6-week process, and he didn't get back on the court for 7 months. So, yeah, whenever there's injuries with the Sixers, Mike, there's always concern.
That is true, because you always have to wonder what the severity is, or are they doing things just to kind of pump the brakes a little bit? And that's the thing with Joel. You've seen him a lot. Doesn't seem like a guy that had anything major, that he would need anything major to happen to him, right? I mean, he was at workouts and practice as if he was a part of the team, just not playing in games.
Yeah, he seemed like he was okay, working up sweats. Watching him go one-on-one with Dario Saric after they had seen the MRI, or a couple of them, he seemed okay. The soreness seemed all right. And then, they noticed more of a tear on another MRI, and then, Thursday word comes that it's really sore. And so I don't know. I think, and I talked to a few doctors last week, and the consensus among them is they're probably going to have to go in there and take a look at how the tear is. And they look at it, according to these doctors I talked to, on a scalability thing where 1 is minor, up to 10, which is more severe, and the time frame of any of that. Now, this is just speculation. This is not, I'm not reporting this. It's speculation, and this is what doctors said, that they think that maybe if they have to go in there, they'll look at it. If it's a 1, it's a minor repair, and it's maybe that 6-week frame. If it's something that's more significant, which there's no reason to believe that it is from what the Sixers have told us, it could be upwards of 7 or 8 months. So, we'll just see how it has to play out. Sixers have not said anything that there's going to be surgery at all. That was just the opinion of a couple doctors that I talked to.
Bob, does it lead you to believe that the Sixers aren't being 100% forthcoming?
No, I don't think they were in the past. I think they're trying to rectify that now, Pete. I really do think that they're trying to stay ahead of things, and once they find out, letting us know. Because what always happens is when they don't tell us, we find out anyway, and it just makes them look worse. So, they're going to keep monitoring Joel Embiid. I think there will probably be MRIs, maybe even on a weekly basis. I don't know, but they'll judge the soreness. They'll keep an eye on the swelling. Whenever there's swelling and there's soreness, there has to be concern. So if it does keep up, I think, as we all know, I think you got to get in there, look and see what you have, and then go from there.
So, Bob, what are some of the things the Sixers want or need to accomplish for the rest of this season?
Yeah, it's back to like where it was. It's growth of players. The T.J. McConnells of the world. It's a look at guys that you just pick up to see if somehow they might be a fit. You need perimeter defenders. You have to look at how this team is going to be built in the future. Who might play best? Even though, and this is where these injuries this year really sucked for them, was you don't know what Embiid and Simmons are like together on the court. So you just have to use your imagination and figure out who you're going to fill around those guys. So it's figuring out what you have for next year who might fit best where, and then moving from there. But basically, what you're doing is, in my opinion, for the most part, is you're looking for a really good second unit to get together. See what you have. Like, is Rashawn Holmes good enough to be your backup center to Joel Embiid? And then, what do you have around him that would make a really nice second unit? Is T.J. McConnell that second unit point guard? Who are your defenders? Is it Gerald Henderson? Is Robert Covington more suited to play second team and be a real good defender and a good outside shooter? Nik Stauskas, is he a second teamer? I think that's kind of what you're looking at for the rest of this year, and trying to fill those spots.
Bob Cooney from the Daily News with us here. You mentioned Stauskas. I'd like to get your opinion on him because he's now 2 years in. This is what, his third or fourth year, going on to his fourth year next year. Do you look at him as a piece?
Yeah, it's still like a tryout process. He has played well of late, and he has had a decent year. Can you upgrade on that? That's what they're going to have to figure out. Like, is there somebody you can get in the draft that's a better Nik Stauskas, a better shooter, a better defender, a better scorer? Nik Stauskas came in as labeled as just a shooter, and he's told me throughout, ever since this team got him, that he's not just a shooter. He said, I'm a scorer. I'm better at scoring than I am at just shooting, and he has shown an ability to take the ball to the basket. He's got to improve a little bit defensively, but if he can give you that spark, if he can give you something off of the bench moving forward, it's not a bad piece to have. It's not a bad piece to have. But like I said, you just have to look at, are you upgrading, or are these guys good enough moving forward to be your good second unit?
Hey, Bob, your colleague Sam Donnell and I thought wrote a really interesting piece regarding Colangelo. We touched on him. He titles it, "Will Bryan Colangelo botch the process?" But do you think that being around him, that the Philadelphia media is an eye-opener to him?
I get that feeling a little bit, yeah. I think that this is a city that he's not accustomed to. He hasn't been around anything like this before. I think it was a little surprising to him to get the backlash that he got, when all the stuff came down a few weeks ago. But, if he had really looked into it, and if he'd have thought forward about it, you knew it was coming at some point. I mean, think about this fan base right now. The people who love Sam Hinkie aren't going to change. So they were just sitting and waiting. They were lying in wait for Bryan Colangelo to do something that wasn't popular, that wasn't good, and they were just ready to pounce. So that storm was coming, and it came. And it came real good, and he had to handle it. And maybe there's some more on the horizon. If you're a Sixers fan, you have to hope that it's not. And if you're a fan of Sam Hinkie's, you have to root for Bryan Colangelo to do a good job. As much as you didn't want Sam Hinkie to leave, that ship has sailed. If you want this team to do well, if you want this process to move forward in the way that Sam Hinkie envisioned, you have to become a fan of Bryan Colangelo. Otherwise, it was all done for nothing. So the jury's still out on Bryan Colangelo. But yeah, going back to your question, Mike, I think he was a little bit surprised at what this fan base is all about.
How about your thoughts on him moving forward, Bob? Is the process botchable?
Well, sure. Yeah, it's botchable. And I think it all goes back to drafts. It's sort of gotten botched because of drafting. I mean, like, should you have taken Porzingis instead of Jahlil Okafor? Were there some other moves you might have been able to make drafting as opposed to what you did? Sure, it's absolutely botchable, but he does have a lot of ammunition to play with to make this better. It's incumbent on them to get this draft right, whether it's just their own pick, which will probably be like a top 5, top 6, or if they get lucky enough that the Lakers get hot and they wind up getting that pick also, which is top 3 protected. And then you have other picks down the line. It's looking at guys. And to me, the whole way this thing has to work is you got to be a really good talent evaluator, and that falls right on the president and general manager, and that's Bryan Colangelo.
Take us back to Porzingis for a minute in that Porzingis story. Did Sam want him, and was he told that Porzingis would not play for the Sixers?
I don't think so. And if he was, from all the people that I talked to, what difference does it make? Or how is he not going to play for him? I mean, you draft a guy, he's yours. I never got the feeling he was going to stay away. maybe he preferred not to go to Philadelphia. But and I really think that gets overplayed. 19, 20-year-old kids, general managers and organizations that are looking to rebuild and get good, that's not, you're not going to draft a guy because you don't think he's going to be happy here. Tough. Come here and play. And, they have to, young kids got to make their way in the NBA before they're going to make any money or do anything. So it's really not incumbent upon them to come in with the attitude, I'm not going to play there. We've heard it, but we haven't really seen it play out in a very good way through the year.
I'll tell you, Bobby, seeing Saric and the run he's been on, the last month or so, he wins Rookie of the Month. I was at Friday night, I was reading this on the drive from Philly back to Atlantic City here, going back over that trade and thinking, wow, what they ended up doing to get Saric. If you're Orlando right now, you got whipped on that deal.
Oh, no question. Yeah. They took Elfrid Payton and made the trade with them. I'll never forget that night because they took Payton with Michael Carter-Williams sitting right there when they took Elfrid Payton and the look on his face. But yeah, moving back, getting a draft pick, getting Saric, even though you didn't have him for 2 years, he's playing really well. And it's funny, I was talking to Nik Stauskas in the locker room the other night, and I think Dario's the same way. They both are feeling better as the year goes on. Like late in the season, they both feel real strong, and their legs are good. And you can see it really well in Saric. He's playing not just good basketball, but good, strong, fresh basketball. He's getting up the floor once and twice very quick. He's running the floor quickly. He's still leading fast breaks and doing things that make him look like he has a fresh body. So more than anything, I think, and look, his play has been tremendous, but more than that, I think the way he's adapted to the league and the way he's been able to stay fresh after such a long year, and I don't just mean his NBA season, it's quite amazing.
Bob Cooney, just recognized as the National Sports Writer of the Year for the state of Pennsylvania. So congratulations on that, Bob. And we always, of course, appreciate your work and appreciate your time.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. Take care, guys.